Alright everyone, today we're going to focus on a couple stretches that you can do, focusing on the hip crease area and the groin. You can just do these at home on the floor just to work on getting a little bit better depth in the squats. So the first thing that we're going to do is sort of a variation on Happy Baby. If you've ever taken a yoga class, many of you guys will be familiar with Happy Baby, where you're going to lay on your back and then grabbing the inside arches of your feet, you're going to try to pull your knees down to your armpits, work on getting the shins pointing straight upwards towards the ceiling, so a 90-degree angle, and you want to make sure that you're trying to press this lower part of your spine towards the ground. You don't want it to curl up too much, but always work on trying to get that lower back and that tailbone pressed down towards the ground. So you're going to flex your feet, and you're going to use your hands to kind of push down your thighs and your knees to get them as parallel to the ground. You want your, again, knees to be on the outsides of your armpits. And so this is really nice to just kind of lay in here for about a minute or so just to ease into the stretch. And to get into this now a little bit deeper, you can do this 1 foot at a time. So keeping, let's say, the right foot in this Happy Baby stretch, you're going to take your left foot and you're going to place it down like you're going to do a single leg glute bridge. Okay, and you want to drive down through that foot as you drive this other knee down a little bit further into that armpit area. Again, try to keep that shin vertical instead of bending so that that foot is pointed straight to the ceiling. And if this is plenty for you, that's great. Or if you want to take it a little bit further, if you can actually get this leg to lay flat on the ground, you'll even get a little bit more of a stretch here in the groin area. But really try to keep the straight foot or this other foot as active as possible. You don't just want to kind of laying there, but really try to press through the heel of that foot to straighten that foot out. Drive that leg down to the ground as best as possible. So again, you're keeping both legs pretty active, and then we'll switch sides. So again, you can start with just your leg in like a bridge position, as if you're going to do a single leg glute bridge. This shin is again pointing straight up and down, flexing the foot, driving the knee down and towards the armpit, and then to take a little bit take a little bit further, straighten out that leg, press this leg that's straight down towards the ground, like you're trying to get your knee or the backs of your knee to get down towards the ground, heel digging towards the ground, so you get a really nice counter tension between both legs. So a lot of really great stretch happening here along the psoas, hip flexor, groin area. Feels really good. And then the one more stretch that we're going to do is something called a frog stretch. So I'll try doing it, I think, facing this way. I think you guys can see this. So you're going to start with your knees straddled wide, probably just a little bit wider than shoulder position. So a little bit wider than shoulder position. And you're going to basically bring your insides of your feet to the ground if you can. If not, you can just have the backs of your foot on the ground. That's fine. You're going to come down to your forearms. So right now my hips kind of nice tucked up in the air at the moment. Now what I'm going to do is take my tailbone and hips and I'm going to tuck them under. So what that looks like from the side. So right now my butt's sticking up in the air. I actually want to tuck that pelvis in, kind of almost curl the abs under just a little bit. And I'm going to start to sink, keeping that same tilt of the pelvis. I'm going to start to sink backwards. And you're going to feel a lot of really good stretch right in the crease of the hips. Now, if you're not getting enough of this here, so again, keeping that pelvis tucked under as you kind of press back towards your heels, you can actually spread your knees just a little bit wider so you end up with a 90-degree angle between the calves and shins in your thighs here. So working towards a little bit wider of a spread. Forearms to the ground. Start with your butt high, tucking your pelvis under, and then start to sink backwards and try to get your hips and your butt to touch the ground. I know mine really can't right now, but that's kind of what you're aiming towards. And then you can just spread your knees, trying to get your knees as wide as you can manage, basically. This is really going to help you with getting that nice stretch in the groin area, getting down into that squat. So again, tuck the pelvis under. That feels really good just right there. And then slowly trying to push yourself back, keeping that tucked pelvis flat back down into kind of like a squat. So it's basically you're doing a squat with the floor like right in front of you. So this is a really great stretch for that inner groin area, helping to think about driving your knees out to the side in the squat. So you can just kind of settle down here. Don't know how long I'll be able to kind of stay down here. It feels really good though. So we got happy baby, and then we have this frog groin stretch. So hopefully you guys can try these out. Again, just grab some floor space at home and work yourself just a little bit deeper into that squat. Open up the hips a little bit.